Hey everyone, thanks for joining here with Marc. I want to introduce what we're going to be doing on a kind of weekly, bi-weekly basis here. Today, we're going to learn more about Marc and his background, kind of the origination for how he joined Susglobal, then learn more about kind of what his CEO role looks like. But going forward, definitely going to dive into the company a little deeper, the industry, and we want to make sure it's interactive. If you've got questions, please drop it below, things you want to see in future videos, questions about the company, you name it, and we'll make sure it gets into one. But Marc, first things first, how are you?
Good, great. Looking forward to the interview.
Yeah, good. Awesome. Well, let's kick it off. Usually like to, start pretty early in your career. Usually like first couple jobs right out of school, and we'll go through some of those and lead into eventually how you joined Susglobal.
Sure. So, of course, straight out of school, got my securities certificate, started trading with one of the first ECN trading firms in Canada, Swift Trade. And from there, got involved in M&A. Then we decided to facilitate reverse mergers, amalgamations, and so forth. And that's how I got involved. So I've had a few opportunities to bring some companies to billion-dollar market caps. And this particular company, Susglobal, we formed about 5 years ago, and we've been operating for about 4 years, since September of 2017. The reason I got involved, I just felt that the technology and the timing was right in terms of sustainability and finding more sustainable solutions to processing waste overall. And as part of circular economy model, I think that right now we're living in a linear economy, and we need to focus more on a circular economy, and that's really the model for Susglobal. I also looked at the numbers were most interesting to me. They can process and produce 1,000 liters of their proprietary product, a pathogen-free liquid fertilizer, for every ton of organic waste that they process. So those numbers are, can be exponential. So that's really the background on how I got involved with Susglobal. And I became the CEO about a year and a half ago, and pretty much focused mainly on executing the plan and acquiring all the assets. All the pieces of the puzzle are together now, and we're really focusing on the market, uplisting to the NASDAQ. And that's really my mandate for the next year and a half.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Have to unpack some of this. So first, you're doing some M&A, part of some companies you say went to like billion-dollar valuations. Anything that people might know or remember? Anything you can talk
Well,
about? What's
yeah, I think one of my favorites was probably Silver Dragon Resources back in 2007, 2008. A silver mining company. We had assets in China. It was a joint venture with the Chinese North Geological Bureau. It's a state-owned entity. And yeah, that went from 25 cents to $2.85. Eventually, we sold all the assets to a Chinese publicly traded mining company. And it was the highest percentage gainer of any publicly traded silver mining company back in 2007. So that was probably my favorite. But then later, when all my friends got involved in cannabis and so forth, I just felt that the valuations were a little bit the market capitalizations of some of these companies was I think very overinflated, certainly with the size of the market in Canada. So I decided to focus more on the green space and looked at different opportunities. And Susglobal was probably well, in hindsight now, it was the right
so tell
company to
me
join.
why the green space? Just curious. Like what you're doing, especially mining to green. I mean, there's some links there, but I'm curious. I have to ask, what was the Okay,
Well,
let me start looking at the green space.
that's a great question. Well, my son was born in 2010, and I really it just changed my perspective. And I want to get involved in a company that we can grow so that the next generation would be familiar with all the initiatives from sustainable methods of processing waste, diverting organic waste from landfill to reduce greenhouse gas emissions is part of the climate change initiative. And then, of course, the whole circular economy initiative. As a matter of fact, Susglobal was chosen by the Finnish innovation fund Citra, which is a large government fund, as one of 39 global leaders in the circular economy model and initiative. So, and by the way, for the first time, the Circular Economy Forum is being held here in Canada in September. So, and we'll be one of the featured companies and speakers.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, lots of things that come, and I gotta ask the kind of as the last question, or at least one of the last questions. You mentioned obviously your goal is to get big board hopefully in the next 12 months, but curious what more of your like week to week looks like as the CEO of Sus Global right now for people that would be curious.
So Susglobal had a regional model. The model was to have a facility in Western Ontario and a facility in Eastern Ontario with 200 kilometers in between, and that whole radius is the GTHA, the Greater Toronto Hamilton area. So we have a facility in Belleville that has an environmental compliance approval for 120,000 metric tons per annum. And now we have a facility in Hamilton, which has an environmental compliance approval for 65,000 metric tons per annum. So in total, we have 185,000 metric tons of organic waste processing capacity. And in between, you've got the highest population or density of population in all of Canada. So we bring in all those municipal organic waste streams. That's the green bin program. That's the source separate organics. And we process them to produce regenerative products. So we make an organic dry compost, and we also make an organic pathogen-free liquid fertilizer, which, by the way, just won an award. We just press released 2 days ago that it won an innovation award for the product. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah, no, awesome. And we'll do a deep dive into the company and these products, coming up, just the first one, but some good teasers for what's to come. Last question for you. The video all about Marc. Curious, anything else you want to get in a video about yourself that, people might find interesting?
Well, I strongly believe in the Susglobal model and what we're doing here. It's something that years down the road we'll be proud of, that we participated in this whole green economy, and we're responsible for diverting significant amount of organic waste from landfill. And as a matter of fact, in the third quarter of this year, we will be obtaining carbon credits for the first time in the company's history. So we're really, part of this whole initiative to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and be part of a real climate change for all of us, because we look around us with the pandemic and fires and different weather disturbances and so on. There's no doubt that we all have to have this collective consciousness to be able to execute on this plan to legitimately reduce carbon and so forth, so that the next generations don't inherit what we've been doing for the last several hundreds of years.
Yeah. No, love the passion. Again, all this stuff, we'll talk industry, talk carbon credits, talk company coming forward. But Marc, thanks so much for joining. Pretty awesome first video. Good little intro for yourself and the company a little bit there too. But we'll do a deeper dive shortly. Thanks so much for joining, and looking forward to chatting again soon.
We look forward to it. Thank you so much, Jason. Appreciate it.